everyone, it's Ben with Arctic. Welcome to another deep dive episode. This series is dedicated to understanding the engineering and design that goes into developing the Arctic products that you know and love. In this segment, we're learning all about the ALTERRA 600 suspension. Joining me today is Brent Gilgy, one of our off-road mechanical engineers. So Brent, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So Brent, the ALTERRA lineup is already known for having a really robust and strong suspension system, but what's new or improved for the ALTERRA 600?
Yeah, so the ALTERRA 600 has all new front and rear suspension geometry and steering geometry. One thing we did was remove the bearing, which we previously used to attach the belt crank to the chassis, replaced it with a stud and a bushing, and also made it a greasable joint so the customer can service this as they need if there's any water or debris in the steering joint. And moving to the brakes, we have a one-piece hub and rotor design. It's very similar to the Prowler Pro. It adds more mass to the rotor. It's a better heat sink and reduces NVH.
Are there any other updates that have been made to other components of the ALTERRA 600 that have influenced the suspension design?
Yeah, the Driveline was the main influence on front and rear suspension changes and also steering geometry. So these changes allowed us to reduce the bump steer in the front suspension, and this allows for more predictability going over bumps, reduces rider fatigue, really enhances the rider experience.
Now you talk a little bit about bumps and shock absorption. When I look at the new ALTERRA 600, it does look like it's got a new shock package. Can you tell me more about what that is?
Yeah, so the new 600 has a larger shock body diameter, so that allows us to have greater oil capacity, which reduces shock fade, provides more consistent dampening throughout the day when you're riding. We also went to replaceable shock bushings. So previously, the shock bushings were part of the shock. You'd have to replace your whole shock. Now this allows the customer to put new bushings in if they need to.
Cool, so looks like there's a lot of attention given to the serviceability and maintenance of the suspension components. What about the springs? They look new as well. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, so the front suspension spring, we increased the spring rate on model year 23 vehicles, and the rear suspension spring went from a straight rate to a progressive rate. This allows good small bump compliance, but you also have that last ending rate that improves bottom out control for more aggressive riding.
Very cool, so a big improvement to overall rider experience. Now, the suspension on the ALTERRA 600 makes it feel more responsive. Is there anything that contributes to that we've done?
Yeah, a big part of it is the weight bias front to rear. It's very close to 50-50. So the effects of slight weight changes from the rider are very evident when you first get on the vehicle. So a slight weight shift to the front puts more weight on the front tires, makes it very predictable in corners, and slight weight shift to the rear makes the vehicle feel light, nimble.
So the ALTERRA 600 comes in a variety of different models and special editions. Can you walk me through some of the key differences in the suspension components when it comes to these models?
Yeah, the TRV is a two-rider vehicle. So we increased the spring rate on the rear to account for that extra rider. The Black Hills edition and the Mud Pro are more specialized. They have a different steering system. It's similar to what you see on snowmobiles with the adjustable riser. And these two axes with that riser allow the rider to move the handlebars fore and aft, and it also allows you to keep your control plane in the desired orientation as you're moving the bars fore and aft. And we also have the hooked end, very similar to snowmobiles. This gives you more positions for your hands, off camber, things like that. And the handlebar grip diameter is actually smaller, so it improves the feel, reduces rider fatigue, and increases comfort.
What about the ARMS? Are there any differences there between those models?
Yeah, the Black Hills Edition and Mud Pro both come with arched ARMS, and that allows you to have a higher ground clearance through a wider part of the vehicle as compared to standard models with just the straight A-arm here. And the rear A-arm is actually the same part both sides, so if you're carrying spare parts, you only have to carry one part.
What about the tires and wheels? There's differences in each one of these models when it comes to those packages as well. Can you tell me about what those are?
Yeah, the Black Hills Edition and the Mud Pro both come with 28-inch diameter tires. The Mud Pro is a 28 9 wide, 14 in the front, and 28 11 wide, 14 in the rear. The Black Hills Edition is a 28 10 wide on a 14 all the way around, so it's just the same part number, all four corners, carry one spare.
Very cool, makes it super easy.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Brent, thanks for joining us today. If you guys want to learn more about the ALTERRA 600, check out the rest of this series. And if you have any questions, visit your dealer or go to arcticcat.com.